less of this cold world, the more of heaven. The briefer life, the earlier immortality.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. All right, so I got an invite from a friend of mine named Lola, who is also very, very into abandoned, creepy places. And it was to visit a old British cemetery in Hidalgo. Apparently this place is 200 years old, and it's absolutely beautiful. We just arrived. The front gates are right here. And it's got some pretty interesting stories. Let's check it out.
Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. 1862.
Él nunca pensó que la reina Isabel II de Inglaterra iba a tomar en cuenta su labor, y es el primer hidalguense mexicano y en todo el mundo un cuidador de cementerio que recibe el honor de una reina.
¿Y cómo te llamas?
Yo soy María del Carmen Hernández Skewes, soy descendiente también.
Es un nombre muy grande
¿Sí?
para mí. Practico español. ¿Otra vez?
María del Carmen Hernández Skewes.
María del Carmen.
Sí.
So your father worked 47 years in the cemetery as a miner or working in the cemetery?
No, fue cuidador.
Cuidador. Can we see the grave for your dad?
Podemos ver la tumba de tu papá.
Sí, pueden pasar al lado de allá.
Okay, María del Carmen Hernández Skewes, it's a long name, said this is her father's grave, and she's now the caretaker of this cemetery, but her father, Don Chencho, was apparently such a rock star here in Mexico that the British Empire made him an official British citizen. And that's why he's buried here in the cemetery as well. But originally it was founded because there was a lot of British people working here in the mine. It was a British mine here in Mexico, and they built the cemetery to bury the workers and the various celebrities when they passed away. I was doing some very bad translation of some Spanish websites about this place, and I guess there's lots of Masonic symbols, that a lot of the people buried here were Freemasons, and they incorporated symbols all over the cemetery. This grave was of a man who apparently in his life was satisfied with everything, and he was satisfied being poor. He had an opportunity to get rich, he turned it down, he had nothing, he died with nothing, and as a final point for the rest of the world, he didn't know this, but they put the dollar sign with 3 lines to show everybody else that no matter what happens in your life, if you have an opportunity to get rich, you should take it.
Also, there's a saying about these books. These are a series of closed books on the head of these tombstones.
And what they were saying is that the people who died uneducated, who didn't have a desire to read or learn about the world that surrounded them, they put books on top of their heads, closed books to weigh them down in the afterlife for never actually learning how to read.
Somewhere over here, there is a grave pointing
the opposite direction from all of the others. Apparently, it was a very famous clown named Richard Bell, who was one of the best, and his final joke to the world was to be buried in this cemetery where everybody is perfectly placed facing Britain. He wanted to face the other direction.
Is it this? To our beloved daughter, Helen. This has got to be it right here. The grave of the clown. That totally sacred to the memory of Richard Bell. So every other grave facing this direction, all facing this way.
As a final joke to the world, bury me differently than everybody else. I've got to show you some of the epitaphs on these gravestones. Whew, some are pretty dark. In loving memory of James C. Smith, who died
Beloved
at
wife
Pachuca.
of Stephen Walters, on Monday, June 5th, 1899, aged 20 years.
Who lost his life at Santa Gertrudis Mine, 1896, aged 26-year-old.
Life, February 28th, 1899, aged 27 years. The beloved wife of Thomas J. Edwards, aged 30 years.
August 2nd, 1899, aged 37.
There shall be no night here.
Death cannot come to him untimely who is fit to die.
In the midst of life we are in death. Suffer little children to come unto me.
Hide me, O my Savior, hide me, till the storm of life has passed. Safe into the haven, guide me. O forgive my soul at last.
God damn.
A lot of these gravestones are from people around my age. 32, 28, 27, 31. Imagine, that's like 50 years of missed life. All because you chose to work in a mine. We live our life and we don't really think too much about death, at least in my culture, in Canada where I'm from. We put death on the back burner, we don't think about it, we're scared of it. It's not something we accept, it's something that we reject and pretend it's never gonna happen, but it happens to everybody. So coming here makes me realize that, hey, giving that speech in front of 200 people, or doing that thing you've always wanted to do, or asking that girl out on a date, or whatever's scaring you, is that gonna matter when you're underground? No, not at all. Coming to these places and reminding myself that I'm gonna die someday reminds me to live the life I have today. I got a text yesterday asking if I wanted to visit a British cemetery, and I said, yeah, let's do it. So we came down here today. Have to say spontaneity brought me here. But visiting cemeteries always makes me feel a bit on the inside. But I like that feeling. It makes me ask tough questions. So I'm gonna ask you a tough question. Are you guys afraid to die and end up in a place like this? It's a very important life question we don't think about enough. So I said, yes? Are you afraid? No, you're not afraid? Leave a comment below and we'll talk about it. I'd love to have a little chat about your thoughts on places like this. So next week, we'll visit some place maybe a bit less creepy, but hey, who knows, maybe not. Experience over possessions. Kick the grind, leave a comment below and we'll chat. Peace, guys. Later.